lot of the times they end up, again, getting butthurt because they can't make us do something, right? So law enforcement, I've been arrested 4 times for standing on a public easement.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very interesting one. We are going to be looking at NC Tyrant Hunter. And he's doing some kind of like backwoods interview or how to become a tyrant hunter or getting in the mind of NC Tyrant Hunter. It's very weird and none of it really makes sense as to what we're watching. We're going to skim through it. There's nothing really substantial here. I just want to point out a few things because I thought it was kind of hilarious and just so poorly done, or I'm not sure if this is a professional videographer or what exactly is going on here. So let's get into the video.
Sure is.
Make sure it's on.
No, just it'll come on. It'll start recording when you hit the button.
Oh, that's the one I had.
I think you're...
It should be recording. Yeah.
We better start recording.
It's definitely in cop watch mode.
You start the camcorder, just hit the silver button on the back.
Tell us your name and your YouTube channel.
You're good.
NC Tyrant Hunter.
So when did you become NC Tyrant, and why did you become NC Tyrant?
First, I started watching videos, of course, right? I started out watching crash videos on YouTube, and then it turned into getting recommended police chases and such like that. So I started watching those, and then the auditing videos and the cop watching videos started getting recommended to me, and I started watching those. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And I started looking up North Carolina, if it was anybody auditing or cop watching North Carolina, and there wasn't. And I started seeing how the cops were doing people. And I started, researching the laws in North Carolina. And I seen how...
Nothing's better than when in the middle of your professional interview, you have people just walking by the camera. Again, this is not the microphone you would use. This is a SM58. This is a vocal microphone for like live bands. You have a very clear knot in the middle of your cable. Half your van is sticking out. Hopefully that's not your phone number. If it is, it's your video. So I'm just reporting on it. And like, apparently we're using a GoPro, but then this mic is going to this camera. How come you're not using her footage, which I'm sure is better? None of this really makes sense, but we're going to continue. So obviously he saw an opportunity because nobody was doing North Carolina. And so he thought, oh, there's some money to be made here off of YouTube.
And I seen how they was being treated. I'm like, that's messed up. I even told my wife, I'm like, there's no way I could do that. No way I can sit in front of cops and talk the way they do, right? And my wife's like, no, you'll be doing it. I'm like, no, there's no way. So about 4 months later, I got a camera and went out and started recording.
Do you know what pushed you from watching to actually doing it? What really motivated you?
Because I felt it was necessary for me to do it in North Carolina because there was nobody. I think there was one channel. I don't remember the name of it now, but there was one channel that he hadn't done anything for over a year.
So of course he saw an opening on YouTube and he's like, yep, we're gonna go make some money. They saved up, bought a camera off layaway, and off he went.
The first time I went out, I was wet behind the ears, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I thought I did, and I got so scared, I was so nervous, I couldn't even hardly speak. And it was so wild, man. And my adrenaline just started flowing so much, I couldn't control it, right? So I got all those videos on private because they went so bad. And as I progressed, I got better, and now I can control the adrenaline. It still flows, but I can control it a whole lot more.
So I don't really watch too many of his videos, but I do know he has a tendency to go off script. And when he does that, he kind of opens himself up, backs himself into a corner, kind of talks himself back across what he just tried to prove. So he'll say something along the lines of, oh, I'm allowed to do this. This is my First Amendment audit. I'm creating a story. But then 2 seconds later, he says, oh, I'm just filming for YouTube. or something like that. Like he completely loses his mind and completely forgets his script, you know? That's kind of what I've seen from some of his videos.
Where were you saying sometimes it goes well, sometimes?
Sometimes it goes well. Let's see the percentage. 40%. You know, they won't come out and mess with me. You know, the other 60, they'll end up coming out saying, "You need to leave. You're on my property." But by law, I'm allowed to be on the public easement. It's, you know, different. On each road is different. It could be 15 feet from the center line. It could...
I don't know how much more we're going to watch of this because it's just kind of bad in general. So 40%, nobody cares about him. So he doesn't post those videos. Those don't work for him. 60%, he actually has content for YouTube, right? So that's the way they're thinking about this whole kind of idea. Now, apparently, we have that SM58 plugged into their camera, unfortunately. So maybe that footage was just completely unusable. And that's why we're looking at GoPro footage. I mean, we're going to look and see if there's any more question and answers that make any sense to us or is worth even talking about. But basically, he's trying to get people more involved, and it doesn't really work. Like, there could have been a better promotional ad. I don't even know what this is. Let's move on.
So, but would you call yourself more like an auditor than a cop watcher, and use that in the sense, like, I feel like I'm more an auditor or more a cop watcher?
I use the word audit in my titles because that's where people search. That's what they search. I'm a constitutionalist. I go out there and try to teach everybody that I can about the First Amendment. The Second Amendment, I love doing the Second Amendment stuff as well as the First. I often open carry. North Carolina is an open carry state, and a lot of people don't even understand that. So I open carry as I'm recording, so I'm actually doing the First and Second Amendment.
So you could see why some guy with a camera and a gun outside might upset people?
Upset, but it should. It should be norm. It should be normal. I wish everybody carried a gun. Everybody. Be less crime in the world if everybody had a gun.
So that's the thing with NC Tyrant Hunter. A lot of times he does go in and open carry, especially into like libraries. Now, to me, that's kind of like putting a dark cloud over your entire activities. So it seems to me that you're trying to get a rise out of people while you're open carrying a gun, and you have your camera ready to record all those reactions so you can plaster it all over YouTube. To me, it's like you're not really doing what you say you're doing. You're not auditing. And he even says, well, the reason I use audit is because that's what people search for on YouTube. His entire goal is YouTube. It's not your rights. It's not anybody else's rights. It's all about him and his clicks and views on YouTube. We're going to go ahead and end it here. If you want to watch the whole thing, be my guest. It's just terrible, the poor quality. I'm pretty much done with this. If you liked the video, please leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, and until the next one, peace.